Hi, and welcome to another episode of If I Speak. It's been ages since we've had at least four of us on this panel, so as you can see, we're all happy, all smiling, all good, and I hope everyone watching is good as well. And yeah, we'll go through the match week 35 reviews then. So, Shin, we've got to start with you, man. Another brilliant result against the so-called top six teams. So, you guys beat Tottenham 3-1. Luckily, Nando isn't here to rant on about Tottenham or Mason Mount. Ryan Mason. God, blunder already. But yeah, give me your thoughts on the big win against Tottenham, really.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Yeah, big win. Smashed them from minute 1 to the 90th. Mad game, crazy. Because first time out, against Tottenham, playing at their home, they beat us 3-0, and we were just terrible that game. And I think when I looked back at this game and I saw the way we played, it was exactly how Tottenham played in the first game against us, but we played better because we just, obviously we're the underdogs, and we've got to keep that home record. Obviously, last time I was on here, we played City, who we beat, then drew against United, drew against Liverpool. We had a little blip and lost to Brighton, but then we came back in this game. So yeah, end result 3-1. It's a great win for us. I think Bielsa did great tactically. Like I was saying to Nundu and on WhatsApp, the way that Bielsa, targeted Aurier in the bottom right corner. I mean, as a right back, was just bottom right corner.
Is he keeper?
Doria
Yeah.
said Mason Mount instead of Ryan Mason, so you're all good, man, Dory.
The way he targeted Aurier at right back was just perfect. Like, just the way the goal was controlled, the game was controlled was just brilliant. When Son scored that goal, I was like, it's 1-1 now. But I just knew we'd score again because it's just the way Leeds play. Like, when we go down, we come back. We always do. I think if we didn't have a goal, then it probably only would have been like a crappy 1-0 or 2-0. But, that pushed us to take 3. But yeah, every goal was like sublime, man. It was mad. But all in all, it's a good game. And like, obviously, yeah, we're unbeaten at home now this season. Drew it off.
Actually, are you unbeaten at home?
To the top 6, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, no way, you guys are going a whole season unbeaten at home. But
I'm beaten to the top 6, so I'm beating Chelsea, Arsenal. We beat Man City.
You didn't beat us.
No, I said drew Chelsea, drew Arsenal. We beat Man City, beat Tottenham. And
it's all the Arsenal anger in me.
drew with Man United and then drew with Liverpool. I mean, that Man United game was so boring, but it's a good point for us. And then we played Liverpool as well, got another draw. So I mean, it's big. And then what annoyed me was that Brighton blip, because like we're doing so well and then we flipped and lost to Brighton, and I just knew that would happen. Like, Leeds fans all over Twitter, like, watch out now, we lose to Brighton.
Ben White masterclass.
And we did, and then we came back against Tottenham, and I mean, Harry Kane's free kick, I thought, nah, it's going in, and he hit the bar. But Meslier was perfect on the day. Like, he was gonna save that regardless. Even the goals, like, I can't remember the goals, but they was just so sick. Like, I've seen them so many times, but right now I can't even remember like the goals.
Bamford's goal was quite good as well. It was good move and stuff, and but even Dallas arriving from the far post as well. I do remember the goals, to be fair, because it's just funny seeing Tottenham crumble every week, innit?
I think Dallas has done brilliant this season. Like, oh my days, just think a centre back playing at centre mid and right mid is gonna, you don't expect much from him, but he's been scoring goals after goals, assists. He's like flipping Cafu, man. He's wicked.
Cafu.
but no, realistically, like, that's big for us, and especially sets us up for next season, going into next season, because although we are losing to like Brighton and teams like that, we perform against a big 6 for fans. That's a big like morale boost, and especially coming new to the Premier League, that is a big thing. And we've done it at home now, and it just shows like the way we've been playing. Even the first game of the season, and I was talking to Abhinav a couple of weeks ago about Liverpool, and the Liverpool game, first game of the season, when Salah scored the 2 penalties. But still, like, we came out in full force, and we showed what we're made of. And even now, towards the end of the season, we've carried that through. So
I'm
I think
scared of losing potentially. Sorry, go on. I think you cut out there, bro. Sorry. What happened? What did you say?
Oh no, I was just saying Bielsa has been massive for us this season, and I'm just hoping that he signs an extension on his contract, because the way we play, Like I've seen us play in the Championship, obviously down the years, and since Bielsa came, you know, the game completely changed. We went from like 14th to 3rd to 1st, and now we're sitting 9th, 10th in the Premier League. You know, that's quite big. So I mean, I didn't expect it to actually move this quickly, and I think next season will be a lot harder. But you know, I'm really happy as a Leeds fan to see the way we're playing. So
Yeah, fair enough. That's good for you, obviously, with Leeds. But I wanted to ask you, are you worried at all over the summer that some of the bigger-ish teams would go for your players? So you said about Dallas,
Yeah.
Phillips, other players like Melee, for example, just an example. Those three,
Yeah.
are you scared of losing like some of your key players to like say like an
Yeah.
Everton or West Ham or maybe even bigger like a Chelsea, Liverpool, whoever?
Yeah, I think the one everyone's worried about at the moment is Rafinha, because
Oh,
you know,
Rafinha, yeah, that's it.
yeah, I know you forgot to say it, but
Yeah.
we signed him at the big. Well, we signed him on the last day of the transfer deadline day. I think it was like an hour to go or something, and we got this guy popped up, Rafinha, and we were like, who's this guy? Like, who is he? Like, obviously we knew about him. We knew like he played in the French league and he played for Rennes, but then you think like flipping out Farmers League, like yeah, he can do it here, can do it in the Premier League, and I'm telling you, man, what a season he's had. Like, obviously, we're talking about signing the season and stuff, you know. But I mean, that's a bit biased, but he's definitely up there, like for signing of the season, because he's just been like so instrumental for us attackingly, and I think he's a player that every team's linked with. Like, you go on Twitter, you check any you know, Sky News like pundit, they're all talking about Rafinha being linked with Man United, Liverpool, you know. And then you do worry as a Leeds fan, because you think we don't want him to go to that club when we've just acquired him like so recently, and the way we're performing, we want to see more of him. But I don't think he'll go anytime soon because of how, you know, how long he's been at the club. It hasn't been long enough, so I think he will stay. But like even these players, like even if they do leave, you know, the club's gonna slap on a massive transfer fee, and then I mean again, it's like even when we look at our younger players and, you know, like if we had the likes of like Jack Clark last season, we must have given him a few games, and then had a game of Premier League football. He played like 6 or 7 games in the Championship for us at the time. So there is real interest in some of our youngsters as well. So like even them, like there's going to be a massive transfer fee slapped on them for some of the, especially like we've won our under 23s have won the league this season. So there's a lot of, and they've got joint top scorers. 2 of our players are like joint top scorers. So, you know, even them, like a lot of clubs, bigger clubs have been linked with them and looking at them. But I think no matter what's going to happen, the club's going to want to keep them. It's going to add a massive transfer fee on top of it. So I'd hope that we keep most of them. But even if we can, like, you know, even if some players do go, I'd rather it be the players that we don't necessarily need, like Click, maybe Roberts. I mean, some people like them, but I've just got to the point where you don't want to be like a Sheffield United next season with the same players, Championship level players. Like, they can play in the Premier League because they've showed it, but you know, if you want to compete and get up the table, we want
to invest,
better, bigger players, stronger players, more tactful players. We don't need lazy efforts from, you know, players like Roberts and you know, Costa. So yeah, like I'd rather we just strengthen our midfield a bit. And like even I was saying, you know, they've played in the Premier League. They are good, but if we want to start competing, we're gonna need stronger players. So we need to sort of get rid of them eventually. Otherwise, we're gonna end up like a middle tier side like Burnley or flipping Brighton. So we need to get rid of them at some point. But I mean, it all depends on what happens. But on the transfer situation, I'm just hoping we keep the key players like Dallas, Phillips, Rafinha, these type of players. Bamford. I heard Bamford's linked with Liverpool. Like, obviously we know that's
really?
not
Wow.
we know that's not happening. I mean, I've been joking about it. We know it's not happening, but the fact he's even being linked is like, what the hell? So, but we want to keep these players because they're doing so well for us. So we need to keep them a couple of years, as long as we can, basically.
Yeah, no, cheers for that, Shivam. It's to be fair, I've rated Leeds in the Premier League, to be fair, this season. I do like them in the Premier League. I think they're just something different, and you feel like they belong there as well. So yeah, cheers for that, Shivam. I'll actually go next then, I think, because I have a fair bit to say. Of just a crazy week for Chelsea. What can you say? So sums it up that we can beat Zidane, we can beat Pep Guardiola, we can beat Simeone, but then we can lose to Sam Allardyce and Mikel Arteta. That just sums up Chelsea right there. But I'll start on the positive then. So we beat Manchester City 2-1, and it's ironic because we kind of needed performance that we played in City, but we needed that for Arsenal, which we lost as well. So obviously, when the goal down against Man City, I had no hope at all that we'd come back, because Chelsea and coming back from like a goal down is just never works at all. But funny enough, it did work from City, and I saw a different Chelsea team in the fact that we won differently. It's not all passy all the time. It's not walk the ball in the back of the net. It's just this time it was much different against Man City. Like I can't remember the last time we actually scored a goal outside the box, and Ziyech came up with that. He did really well that game. I thought the defence were really good as well. It's a shame about Christensen. He's injured at the moment. He's pulled up his hammy, but yeah, I think we have to talk about Aguero's penalty as well, because that was just a lifeline. I remember just watching, just raging on my phone. I was like, this game's done. We're going to lose 2-3-0 to City. Then Aguero just loops it up and hands it to Mendy. Credit Mendy as well, because he didn't commit. So on that note, yeah, we came out well second half. Thomas Tuchel gave a good pep talk, should I say, quite literally, to the players. And yeah, they really stepped up. I thought, as I said, Ziyech stepped up. Pulisic did really well. Mason Mount obviously did well as well. But we won differently, which is quite different for Chelsea. So Ziyech scored from outside the box, which was fantastic then. As soon as Hudson-Odoi came on as well, he was really good as well. And I have to mention Reece James, obviously, because he did really well second half as well. Like first half, he was a bit sloppy, but Reece James is kind of one of those players where he needs to have a proper run in the team for him to be up there. He's out there, but then to go higher, he needs to be in the team more consistently. I thought first half he was a bit sloppy, but second half he definitely stepped up and tore Mendy to shreds. And that's where the second goal came from, really. And then Marcos Alonso, man, I've said this guy should just play striker for us, because his goal instinct and goal threat is really, really high. So it was a great win for us, big win for us as well, especially with Leicester dropping points against Newcastle at the time. And also Liverpool hadn't played before that as well. So we kind of went with that with confidence and stuff. But then the tragedy happens a week after, or should I say recently, where we lost to Arsenal. And I've said to you guys as well, like, as soon as Arsenal scored, I just knew we weren't going to score, because it was going to bite us in the arse at some point where we wouldn't take our chances. And same thing happened again, where we had tons of chances. Mason Mount had a poor game as well yesterday, and that's rare of me to say that. But I think it was his worst performance in Chelsea shirt, I thought, which is quite big. But I think the rest of the team were really poor as well. The only ones who really stood out in the game were Billy Gilmore, even though he got taken off at half time wrongly, in my opinion. I thought Reece James tried as well. And Havertz, man, like this guy, like he just can't finish his dinner, man. That's the only problem with him. But I feel that will come with time as well, with him adjusting to the Prem. And I thought Pulisic tried as well, but just not good enough. The whole team weren't good enough, and it showed that we missed Kovacic and Kante, because you can't play Gilmore, Jorginho, you can't play two sitting midfielders, and it clearly didn't work. And Thomas Tuchel took the blame for it, rightly so as well, for picking that team. So, but yeah, I'm still confident we'll get top four, just because of the teams around us, and I feel like we have an edge just because we play Leicester, so we have a chance immediately to make up for it. So this result might not mean anything come the end of the season. So, but it's just annoying that Mikel Arteta has done the treble over us recently. I can't be asked for it anyway. But yeah, I'm still confident as well that we'll get through the line and stuff with our players and injuries and stuff. I don't think they're too serious, but yeah, enough of the rant sesh from Chelsea perspective, because I can't complain at all with what Thomas Tuchel's done for us over the past 4 or 5 months. He's just done amazing. Like I think he's definitely a contender for manager of the season, but maybe not the actual award, but I think should definitely be in the conversation. But
anyways,
yeah.
Do you think you'll win? Do you think you'll win the champion? I know it's moving away from Premier League, but do you think you'll beat? Obviously you beat City the other day. So going back to the result, and obviously you played them now in the Champions League final, and apparently the finals. Well, they were saying so they're going to they were going to hold it in Wembley, but they've now moved it to
In Porto Stadium,
is
I
it
believe.
Porto Stadium? Yeah, Portugal, Porto Stadium. So, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think do you think you'll win the Champions League?
Oh, do you know what? I have every confidence that we do, but I just know that it's not going to be the same Manchester City team that we've played recently in the FA Cup semi-final or the League One in a sense, because even though in those teams they've had like De Bruyne, Foden play, they're not all been at once, and this is bigger for Manchester City than it is for us because they haven't got a Champions League yet. This is their first final, and obviously the pressure will be on Pep as well to deliver Champions League. Obviously from rival fans' perspective, even they're bored as well. So I feel like it's going to be a different game. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if City win, because they're just a sensational team, really. Obviously, they've won the league as well. Congratulations to them. But it's going to be a much different City team. But I do feel that we've been written as the underdogs for the Champions League, and I do feel that we'll go all the way, especially that we're good at defending and stuff. And I feel like, we can keep City out, and I'm confident that we can win the Champions League. I'm going to get clipped with this. It's going to be so embarrassing.
Let's say you win it though. Just imagine though, like Tuchel came in halfway through the season and he's won you the Champions League for Chelsea. That's big. If he does do it, then he's definitely a contender for manager to see. Even though he's only been there like short time he has, that is massive. Because you got to see
the last time they won the Champions League, the manager
was
managed them for 6 games.
Di Matteo.
6
last
games.
True.
Exactly.
That's
so true. And also just before I end on Chelsea, last time we lost to Arsenal in the league was 2011-12, and we all know what happened that season. So I'm just gonna end it there on Chelsea. But yeah, I'm not too worried at all, to be honest, about anything. It's just not our day really. But let's just hope it doesn't carry on over the next week or so. But yeah, moving on from Chelsea, I'll go to Abinab next then. So you guys have only had one game. A big win for you guys in your pursuit for the top 4 as well, beating Southampton 2-0. Did Mane score? Mane did score, right?
Yeah.
So he finally got his goal and stuff. You guys are, like I said, within the shout of the top 4 as well. What are your thoughts on the game generally and your top 4 hopes after the results?
Well, it's not really a pursuit of the top 4, because I don't think anyone's really trying to pursue it properly. They're just losing all the games, so it's just whoever's losing it the least at this point. The game, like overall, I was a bit worried going into it because we had I think Reece Williams and Phillips at the back, and last time we played Reece was against United, and Rashford had punished him because I think he made a mistake, like he misjudged a cross.
Was that the FA Cup?
Like a diagonal.
Yeah.
It was the FA Cup game where we lost. Yeah. He misjudged a diagonal. But I think with like a game like Southampton, they don't quite have like a Rashford. They have Ings and whatnot. They have Redmond and everything, and obviously they're a threat, but like the pace of Rashford in behind is always a danger. So I think playing Reece was okay in that sort of game, and I was pleasantly surprised actually by how well they coped. Although they did have their chances, they had one chance, I think, Southampton, but Alisson bailed out there. So I don't know. It's just we're not quite in like a full flow, full rhythm. We're not like this doesn't mean that we're going to compete and win all the rest of our games, but it is a step in the right direction. It's good to see Mane back on like playing well again. He wasn't perfect, like he wasn't on it, like he wasn't back to normal, but I'd say like a goal is important, and I did notice like when he's like, now that he scored, like his confidence sort of came back. He was trying to take on players, and he looked a bit more confident. I think it's the same problem as before. Like whenever we play Jota, whenever we start Jota in games, we kind of struggle to break teams down. I don't know. Like, I feel like Jota's more better as like an impact player, like off the bench.
He did that well for Wolves as well, actually. Yeah, because Wolves he wasn't really starting games, was he? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of his Wolves career, Nuno preferred other players to him, so he started benching him and didn't play him as often.
Mm.
But I think it's just one of those things where he's better against fresh legs. So maybe he could do with like staying on the bench and coming on. But also, I do like us playing like 4-2-3-1, although we didn't against Southampton. So yeah, it's an important result. I mean, after the result, I didn't really think, now we're back in the hunt for top 4, because
do you not think that? Because like I've said to you guys
You
that
got
I
a
think,
feeling.
yeah, I've got a feeling, yeah, that
Darmish and his feelings.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
trust you guys know,
Emotional
but
man.
but yeah, like I've always said that Liverpool will finish fourth just because of the players that you've got and the fixtures. If it weren't for the fixtures, I think if you guys had a tough run, say like a Leicester had or us, for example, then I don't think you would. But with the fixtures you got, it's too hard to ignore in a sense from a rival fan's perspective that you kind of be worried about Liverpool. Because that's how
That's
I
the thing,
feel.
though. I think against West Ham, Tottenham, and Chelsea at the beginning of the season, and even towards like the end, we collected like 13 out of 15 points against the bigger teams, and then against the bottom six, we haven't beat any of them except Sheffield. So it just goes to show that these fixtures that look good on paper don't suit us at all.
So then
we struggle against those teams.
Psychologically, that could benefit you guys as well, in a sense, especially with like us obviously losing to Arsenal, other teams dropping points as well. So in that sense, like I don't know, I still wouldn't write off Liverpool. I think if they come out of Manchester winning and stuff, then I'd say yeah, it's definitely on. But if they don't win, I think it's definitely over for you guys. But I don't know. I wouldn't rule out Liverpool yet. I don't know what you think. But,
I wouldn't put it past us beating United, but then the next game after that, I feel like we would lose just because we haven't. It for us to get like 20 points in 17 games and then suddenly turn it around and win the last 4 games is like extremely realistic. Given that like I've seen when the players need to win, I've seen so many times when the players need to win the game, they don't care at all. They just drop their head after the 60th minute. They'll give it a go for 60 minutes. And then once they start feeling a bit uncomfortable, once they start getting challenged by the team, they're not up for it. They're not up for the challenge. I don't think a team that's losing 6 games in a row at Anfield or losing games against the bottom 6 deserves top 4. And they're showing that right now. I'd love top 4, but I just don't think it's realistic for us. Like, I mean, I know there's a tiny bit of me that wants us to get top 4, but like, I have to be realistic because like they let the team, the manager, and even the manager's culpable, but they've let Liverpool down a couple of times this season.
Yeah, fair enough. As you talk about Liverpool not making Champions League, that's actually a topic we'll talk about later on and stuff about the so-called big clubs fading away in a sense. Not just Liverpool, there's other teams as well. But we'll get onto that later on. But Kunal, I'll go to you next then because God, you've had so many games, haven't you?
Yeah.
I have to remember the order. So yeah,
already, yeah.
Yeah, you go for it. So I think it was Aston Villa you guys played first, I believe. Then the home defeat to Leicester.
Aston Villa, then Leicester. So
Roma.
3 games in the past 6 days. Today we'll have a 4th game in the 4th game in 7 days. Yeah. But then I guess the Roma result really didn't matter. The Roma result didn't really matter, and the Aston Villa result was really good for us. Same old story where we didn't turn up in the first half, but in the second half.
I don't know how you guys do it every single week, man. It's just mad.
So that game was only in one way adding stats to what United have been doing this season. So that game made Bruno Fernandes the first player to score in every month of a calendar year in the Premier League, and he's the first person to do that. And it's never happening again because we had football in June and July, and
yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly.
We won't have that ever again, and well, I'm guessing never again. I don't want it to happen ever again. And then not only we have gained the most points from losing positions in the sport, that is in world football, that is 31. We are unbeaten away from home in 25 consecutive league games now. And Ole has the highest points per game since Alex Ferguson left. So that's more than Mourinho, that's more than Van Gaal, that's more than David Moyes. So people who call him a PE teacher should really reconsider. Then against Leicester, I mean, do I really want to talk about it as a Man United first team fixture? Because it really wasn't, right? We played our reserves, Was
that the right decision then to sort of bench
I absolutely believe it was the right decision because first of all, the Premier League, I don't know what they thought when they were rescheduling the Liverpool fixture, and because they want. I understand that you want to end the Premier League before the 23rd of May, but then it wasn't the players' fault or the manager's fault or the club's fault that the protests broke out that day. It was the fans' fault and
Stewards' fault.
not the stewards' fault too, because a few people got hurt and property was damaged. So it was just the fault of some idiotic fans who thought that this is the right way to make ourselves heard. But that wasn't. The protest was enough by itself. You didn't need to break into the ground. Anyway, so we played with the second team. Matic was again was the culprit for the second goal. Like I say, you play him and you lose. And the only nice thing I can take away from that game is that Mason Greenwood finish. It was amazing. And then this is the first time since 2006 that two teenagers have combined to score a goal in the Premier League. So that's another record that United broke. So this past week has been really good in terms of the amount of games we've played, but we've lost two of them. One loss didn't really matter. The other did. We didn't win 3 points against Leicester, but we've anyway made top four. So it in the bigger picture, it doesn't really matter. And I was glad that we rested a few players.
Yeah, are you slightly worried though, maybe going to the Europa League final, that your players might be a bit fatigued and stuff, given the amount of fixtures you guys have had like now and stuff? I believe Europa League final is in 8 days.
Next Thursday. I want to say.
Next next Thursday?
Wednesday. Sorry, it's on Wednesday. Oh. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
but are you worried about that at all, about fatigue?
The only player that I'm worried about is Harry Maguire, because he picked up an injury against Aston Villa, but then he's our captain and he's been a rock throughout the season. Even though I like making fun of him, all of us do. We call him Slabhead, we call him Towel Man, but one thing that one thing that I'm really happy. I mean, I'm impressed with him. I have been impressed with him throughout the season, and the only reason that I blame him a lot of times is because he does not have the right partner beside him in defense, because Victor Lindelof is not the right partner for him. So if United probably go out and buy a centre back who suits Harry Maguire, who partners Harry Maguire, then probably we'll see a top level centre back in him. Probably not an 80 million centre back, but then a top level centre back. And apart from Harry Maguire, I don't think I'm worried for anybody, because we see that Ole has been managing players really well. He's managed to get the best out of Paul Pogba. He's managed to get the best out of Edinson Cavani, who I think that was at PSG. And you remember all the penalty kick fiasco. He wanted to take the penalty kicks, but Tuchel gave it to Neymar, and then falling out and stuff. And then Cavani signed a new contract at United. We heard rumors that he wanted to go to Boca Juniors and stuff like that, but I'm really impressed with the man management that Ole brings to this team, and the effort that whatever effort he's put into this team has been paying off. And I think that the Europa League final will be fully fit, will turn up to the game and will win it. So no worries at all.
Yeah, fair enough. That wraps up this week's match reviews then.